Did Owl go out to go grab some kinfolk to get the horses, or to just tell the horses, like, hey, let's go over here?
Yeah, just basically just tell the horses and follow along. And
Okay.
Now, Adrian's horse and Isaac's horse would be used to that.
yeah,
The other horses might be, the other, what, three horses might be a little bit new to that idea, but I don't know. Basically, Adrian wants his medication. Asthma's a bitch. But he's Adrian's going to stick around. He's not going to go out hunting. He can hunt. He's not a very good at it, so he kind of leaves that to everybody else. But he wants to stick around and just people watch, I
Okay.
guess. Kind of figure out how the Uktena and their kinfolk live. And of course, you said that there was no kids. I take it there's not very many younger people there either.
Yeah,
So
there's not a lot of younger people. There's still a few like young adults, like people in their, I'd say like a few in their early 20s. Most of them are either middle aged, but there are quite a few elderly.
So only a few people around. Well, I don't know other people's ages. I don't think we went over that. Adrian's only 23, I believe. But well, people watching and stuff like that, if he sees elderly people like cutting wood or anything, he'll go help. He'll insist, in fact. He's a lawyer. He can talk his way into and out of anything, so he helps out around town just looking at them and watching the people. Not quite sure he's not quite sure what he can do
Mm-hmm.
for them legally, but they might just have to go do something to help them out less than legally.
Oh yeah.
Not a big fan of the idea. Adrian loves his laws, but sometimes some laws are just unfair and meant to be broken.
What would Laz like to do? Try out hunting? Okay. And then, Jack, what did you want Isaac to do?
Isaac was going to oversee the hunting. Yeah,
Okay.
just go along with.
So Laszlo, Heath, and Isaac, all of you wake up early in the morning as everyone else is starting to wake up. It's pretty early in the morning. You have the calming rush of water from the waterfall as a soothing background noise. And as everyone starts going about their daily chores, Heath, Laz, and Isaac, you find three of the other Uktena, and even one Wendigo Garou that are getting ready to do the morning hunting. So you've got Krell, which is the Ragabosh that you guys met on kind of the outskirts of the Sept territory. And then you also have Korvik, who is another Lupus, another wolf-born Garou, and Akecheta, uh, who is a Hamid Wendigo. So he was born human, and the three of them lead the way to where they usually hunt out in the forest. And as the six of you are heading out, Krell speaks up and he says, as a general rule, because the Sept's patron spirit is turkey, we don't hunt any of the wild turkey. The plan this morning is to hunt some deer. Maybe bring in a buck or two.
Seems easy enough to follow. Uh, Lead the way then, Krell.
Before they leave, when Adrian hears that there's a Wendigo in the party, he doesn't really have to tell Isaac that much, but he's going to tell Laz and Heath real specifically, watch your back with the Wendigo. Do not do anything that could be seen as a disrespect. They are as violent as the Get of Fenris, and if you look at him the wrong way, it's quite possible it might turn into a fight.
It's
They
probably best to stay in wolf form around the Wendigo.
Yeah, they don't like white folk at all. So just watch your ass. There are no pretty words that I can say that will win them over. if you get into a fight with this dude, it is probably going to be to the death and not his. Other than that, have a good time.
Oh, is that all? Second there, you talk. I was worried that we're gonna get into a landslide or something.
And Laz says, "All right, boss."
With that, he just waves. Have a good time.
Sure.
All right, and as you guys head out, probably doesn't take too long to get to the hunting area, especially in your wolf form. Krell leads the way for most of the trip, but then there's a point where he stops and he looks over to Heath and Laz, and he says, "Well, let's see how well the white people can hunt." Oh no, I completely glanced over the ones there. Okay,
Yeah.
so both got one success each. The two of you found some droppings and the tracks, and we'll just say like you find a buck and a doe. So both a male and a female deer.
Yes, he's just mumbling under his breath, and he glances as Laszlo and says, "See, and just like tries to human wave with his paw, and so he continues to look at Laszlo and says, "So, how you want to go about it?"
All right, and Laz says, if we can't sneak up behind a bush or a rock, shall we pincer them?"
Can I make a roll to see what's our surroundings around the buck and doe?
Oh, sure. You don't have to roll at all. So kind of in the middle of the woods, so there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of bushes. There's plenty of places to kind of sneak up and surround them, or any other tactics.
I'd say we take both approaches. You look like you can sneak up better than I can, so at worst, you can go behind them and try to sneak up, and I'll go in front. I think I'm fast enough to try to catch up if the sneak attack fails. I'll be waiting for your signal then, Laszlo.
Before they start positioning themselves, Isaac's going to fall back to where they're going to be pushing the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of who's in the sneak attack? It was Lazar.
Laszlo's gonna try to sneak
Okay,
attack.
so yeah, just in case he gets flushed out towards us. He's not going to say anything because he wants to see how the pups handle this situation. But yeah, they're going to have to eat. So being a little bit more of an apt hunter, he's going to be hanging back and waiting for help.
Okay. Yeah, the two Uktena and the Wendigo Garou that are with you, they also take up position with you, with Isaac, and they spread themselves out just to kind of cover ground if if either deer tries to escape. Heath is just completely silent as he creeps up through the bushes, and Laszlo's not too far behind either, with only like a small kind of rustle of the leaves, even not even giving him away. Then Zest, you wanted to do like a sneak attack, right?
I was gonna let Laszlo do the sneak attack, and if they notice, I would chase after them.
Okay.
Because he doesn't really do much stealth-wise. He's more about speed and strength, and he feels that Laszlo's more into sneaking around than he is.
Okay. All right. So, Laz, do you want to go after the male or the female deer? What ends up happening is Laz sneaks up on this buck and leaps out of the bushes. Just a perfect leap as he goes for the neck and brings it down. It tries to fight him off, but two of the other Garou that came with you guys on this hunting trip just immediately descend upon it, and as the female deer darts off that's when Krell cuts it off, and that's when you, Heath, can catch up to the second deer. And Isaac, I'll let you describe what you do.
Do I need to roll
No,
on?
you don't need to roll anything.
Okay. So as soon as Laszlo jumped towards the male deer, Heath began to look at the female as she bolted, and he immediately begins to give chase. And as he sees Krell blocking the doe's way, Heath jumps up and basically slams his entire body against this doe, pressing both his claws around the head and the body as he bites down on the jugular area.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then Isaac, did you want to join in on taking down?
Yeah. Of course, he's going to let Heath take the lead when it comes to that because newbie. And when Heath actually has a hold of the doe, he's going to go over and help out. Just kind of keep it down.
Mm-hmm.
Bite into it, weaken it a bit.
Okay. Yeah, and soon enough, both deer are dead, and as the two that led the hunt, the two Uktena and one Wendigo Garou, they let you two have first choices of both Laz and Heath, and as everyone else kind of starts to kind of prepare to bring the rest of it back, the Wendigo, Akecheta, he shifts into his Homid form, his human shape, and cuts out the heart from each deer. And he goes over to Heath and Laz and offers the hearts to both of you. And he says, as the ones who led the hunt, it is customary to honor the spirits of the deer by eating the heart. Since the two of you led the hunt, the honor of doing so should be yours.
Heath nods and looks down at the. I guess I'm assuming he's giving each of us the deer that we killed,
Yes.
perspective wise. He takes the doe's heart and just begins to devouring it. Take his time.
Yeah, it's a tough muscle. It's bloody. It's hard to chew. It definitely takes some time.
Better than some other meats as hunted as a human. I bow my hand, accept the hearty offer. But he doesn't really say anything. He's just doesn't really say anything and just chews without quote unquote complain. And he doesn't stop until the entire heart is devoured. And
Right.
he kind of moves his jaw around after he's done, not being used to eating hearts all that often.
Right, yeah, and Laz bows his head and accepts the hearty offer as he does the same, and it takes some time. You do your part. The other three say prayers thanking the spirits of the deer for the hunt. Then they start dressing the carcasses and getting ready to haul them back. And overall, it is a successful hunt.
Nice.
All right, so go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Heath's just gonna walk and sit next to Laszlo after everything's done and says, "We did a pretty good job tonight, didn't we, Laszlo?" "Thank you, yes."
And Laz says,
Look,
"Thank you, yes."
look, as far as we were expecting, I was just hoping we didn't make a fool of ourselves.
I was half expecting you to. You two don't really strike me as folk that hunt like this often. Especially you. And he kind of nudges his head in Heath's direction.
Well, you're right about that. Used to hunt a lot more as a human than as a Hamid. Right. Wording.
This is far more exciting.
It's a
Depending on the prey.
it's more physically involved. That's
Save
all
a
I'll say.
shit ton on ammo, that's for sure.
As I hear the voice, as I, at this point, I think one of our friends would say that we would save money doing it this way, and yeah, he's right, but it's something that I need to get used to still. Did I serve natural skill? No, but I got the job done.
Yeah, you did. A little bit more honing, and you'll be able to take down prey, no problem.
As the three of you are talking, Krell even pipes in and says, "Yes, with how well you chase after the sounds of turkeys, this turned out pretty well." And he laughs.
He's just not gonna say anything and just mumbles as he walks behind Laszlo, trying not to remember what happened last night.
And Isaac is just amused.
Yeah, well, that's okay because Krell's not gonna let you be embarrassed as everybody feels this kind of compulsion to laugh together. Krell is basically going to use one of his Ragabosh gifts, brighten up the mood so that Heath doesn't feel embarrassed.
Damn Ragabash.
Ragdavash. He looks up at Krell and just nods or chuckles. Appreciate with gratitude. There you go. You go fuck calorie. You know, screw vocabulary. So with gratitude.
After everybody leaves to go hunting, you are people watching around the Sept. I'm guessing like just mingling with the kinfolk.
Yeah, just basically taking stock of who's there. If I remember correctly, in the last session, the elder, something Eagle, told them that all their kids were taken away. He's just, well, he can't wrap his brain around why anybody would take people's children.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, people do fucked up things. But he's just looking to see who's there and trying to come up with a way that he can help these people.
Mm-hmm.
More than long term. I mean, if he sees an old lady carrying a heavy anything, not that his one in strength will help him out very much, but he helps out wherever anybody needs it. But mainly after they left for the hunt, at first he made himself some tea and put his medication in it. Probably having pretty bad allergies and asthma attacks at this point, so he takes. Well, he pretty much takes an opiate to get rid of any pain from the coughing, and then he does his thing. Just people watching, figuring out what's going on here, and
Okay.
chalking it away for something to do later on because they're getting a lot of things on their plate right now.
People watching and observing around see that if you haven't guessed already, there aren't a lot of Garou around to kind of to stick around. So a lot of them are pulling double duty. Anyone with a set position is both doing their job and also patrolling around during the day. You don't see any children around. There's some young people, but not a lot of people old. Like there, anybody that's here is all adults, and there's a lot of elderly. Most of them seem to be sick too, or have some kind of cough. So it's mostly the few younger people running around to take care of the elderly, try to give them what little medicine they have. They seem to be doing okay on like food and wood and basically the stuff that they can get from hunting. But medicine seems to be their biggest issue right now.
Okay, that's good to know. He always keeps a good amount of. I think laudanum is what they used for coughing back then. I don't know if codeine was invented yet. Anyways, he uses laudanum. So people with the elderly with the pretty bad cough, he's probably got enough tea and laudanum to make them all some to make them a little bit more comfortable, but it wouldn't last very long if he did. He'll help out the worst, but he's got it in the back of his head now that these people need a lot more cannabis, cocaine, and opiates because that's what they use for medicine these days.
In this day and age, yes.
Yeah, the young ones need the cocaine, the old ones need the opiates. And everybody needs a little bit of cannabis. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He'll talk to them. And he'll ask questions like one thing. Well, being the Philodox that he is, something he's curious about is do the tribes of the Pure Lands have the litany? Because he knows that the litany wasn't wasn't Gaia coming down from on high and saying these are my laws and obey them like the Ten Commandments or anything, but he's just curious if they have the same laws and
Yeah, I would assume they probably have really similar rules, just
mm,
probably phrased differently.
that makes his brain start to spin. That's good. Makes him think. He's a smart guy. He thinks about a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's just basically help out, figuring out that if he shorts himself on a little bit of his own medicine, he can actually help some of the other people get comfortable and see if it helps them. And if it does, he can also help make peace amongst the septs if he provides them with medication which he can afford.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, let's say like helping out uh, with some of the chores and asking questions about stuff. You you find out that they manage to get by on on food and supplies to make clothing and maintain their tents and everything, and the the Garou help out with the hunting part too. Um,
Mhm.
but they have a lot of issues with that one of the nearby army forts. I believe in the setting it's Fort Mercer, but I would have to double check. But it's one of the forts that's basically across the the valley, across the ravine, and that fort, the army basically has control of what comes and goes from the reservation. And for some reason, the commander of the garrison just has it out for these people and confiscates a lot of the medicine coming in.
Mhm.
And you do hear a few stories about how this commander ran from a battle against some of the natives up north, and that he basically got put at this posting as punishment for cowardice, and he's just held a grudge against all natives as a result.
Okay.
So it's like he
That we might be able to help with.
Yeah, like he's not going out of his way to like physically hurt people, but he's hurting them in other ways. And he's been doing this for about a few years now, and the children being gone was actually part of a a very one-sided peace agreement that they were forced to make.
And were the children taken to Fort Mercer?
They were taken to a place called Fort Riggs, and then when the Garou retaliated, they got taken to a boarding school somewhere in Oklahoma to the north.
Let's clear off the map. All right.
And along with that, that's what White Eagle was talking about when he said some Garou left to get them back, and those that pack never came back.
Okay. All right.
All right, sorry for the exposition dump there.
No, no, no. That's fine. That's fine. It helps me formulate my notes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's basically all he's going to do is help, ask questions, and wait for his pack to come back so he can figure out what to do next. You said in the last session there is a moot coming up.
Yes, so there is a moot that's at the end of the month. So this Sept is having their own moot, and then there's also the moot that's over in Saint Denis.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so as far as the rite of passage goes, you guys were expected to be back around maybe before or on the same day that the moot starts in Saint Denis. But if you guys want to, you can stay longer and just hang out with the Uktena or do whatever you would like to do.
Well, missing a moot could cost you renown. We don't want to do that just yet.
We'll say after you've gathered this information and had some time to kind of sit on it for a little bit, that's when everyone comes back from their hunt and they bring back a buck and a female deer.
All right. When they get back, okay, first he checks to make sure everyone's okay, of course. He didn't think that Isaac would let him down, but shit does happen. Then he tells Laz and Zest to, once he finds out that they were the ones that caught and killed the deer, he says, now you need to go to the elder of the Sept with your animals and offer the entire thing to the elder.
He just shrugs and just like, fine, all right. And he starts dragging the God, I can't talk today. The female deer carcass over to where they met up with the elder, White Eagle,
Mm-hmm.
the day before.
All right, and I'm gonna say it's safe to assume that Laz does the same. Oh, what was that?
That's Heath talking with his mouthful, dragging the thing. Like,
So yeah, the two of you bring your quarry over to the elder, and White Eagle, he gives a nod as you offer it to him, and he says, "Let it feed the rest of the Sept and the kinfolk, especially."
And that was my intention from the very beginning, sir. I only did this to help as much as I can while we were staying here for the last day, and so as long as the rest of the group continues to stay here, I will try to do my best and help out as I can.
Your assistance is greatly appreciated, and you honor your pack and your sept with your action. And then he's gonna excuse the two of you to do as you will. But yeah, we'll just hand wave that you bring the deer up for the kinfolk to have, and we'll say that the four of you are all back together now. Now that has been taken care of.
When Isaac sees Adrian, he goes up to him. So, what did you find out? Already knowing that he's been prying.
Well, I found out something very interesting.
Oh, yeah?
The Uktena have the litany. They've always had the litany, which makes me wonder if... never mind. It's beyond the point. They have the litany. Their kids are gone, as you knew. They were taken to Fort Briggs, but after a pack went to get them, the pack was killed and then shipped off to Oklahoma. So they're pretty far out of the way. There's kind of a problem they're having with Fort Mercer.
Oh, actually, small correction. So they got taken to Fort Riggs. The Garou retaliated, and then they got sent to a boarding school in Oklahoma, and that's when a pack went to go get them back, and then never returned.
Okay.
So whatever took the kids wiped out a whole pack?
A whole pack.
That
Well,
might be above our pay grade.
No. We can't say that. We do not
Oh, no,
know
we
if
can't
the
say
pack...
it.
We don't know if the pack ever made it to the kids, or if they got picked up in an umbral storm, if they ran across another pack of spirals.
True
They
enough.
just might have found a perfect spot of land to retire in and decided to just stop trying to fix everything. Don't know exactly what happened to them, but They haven't returned, and it's been way longer than it should have been. Let's see, what else have I figured out? They're good on food. They're good on supplies, except for the medication. The the leadership over in Fort Riggs is stealing all of their medication, so these people are getting sick and dying.
Fort Mercer.
Fort Mercer.
That we can probably check out. See if they might have it stocked up somewhere and we can bring it back if need be.
Well, if not, we can always just buy medication and bring it ourselves. I do not care if Fort Mercer tries to stop us from doing that. It'd be a bad day on their behalf.
I mean, we could, but they wouldn't really learn much of a lesson.
Yeah, we've got to take care of that too.
So what's the best course of action then?
I don't know just yet. I do know that even though we went on this little side trip and met up with the Uktena, which is a great, great and wonderful thing, we still got to get... We were told to stop the poachers, right? We found the Garou that killed the poachers, but we all are smart enough to know that the poaching isn't going to stop. They're just going to hire more. So to stop the poaching, he points to Heath and says, we've got to find the man that's been hiring the poachers that you were told about.
That'll be in Valentine.
This is why I told you to bring the horns of all the bisons that the guy dropped, because now that we have the horns, we can walk around Valentine saying, hey, we were told that we'd get paid if we killed a bunch of these damn things. Who's going to pay us? As soon as we find out who's going to pay us, we pump him for information to figure out who's paying him, and we'll just work our way up from there.
That's something they can do. It's not the first time I dealt with poachers and hunters and the like. Comes with the job and all.
That's true. Do you think there's a better way, Isaac? I'm open for suggestions, is what I'm saying. I don't.
No, sounds like a sound plan.
It at least leads us to the next destination, and if nothing else, we can always hit the usual spots where huntsmen and poachers will gather.
True. And this way, if we kill enough middlemen, then people just aren't going to want to do their jobs. Killing some bison and taking their horns is one thing, but being murdered for it, that kind of gets around, and people don't. Doesn't matter how good your money is. If you might get murdered for doing something, they're not going to want to do it anymore.
The only ones left will be the ones crazy enough to do it, or the ones desperate enough to do it.
Exactly. You ever kill anybody?
Me?
Yep.
How do you think I got into this mess to begin with? That's how I
turned into a wolf?
Yeah, that...
Okay, let me explain it like this. When that happened, you did not have control. You did not kill anybody. The wolf did. Have you ever killed anybody?
Yeah, probably, honestly.
You sound uncertain about that.
I don't...
Probably?
Yeah.
You don't even know if you killed somebody?
Yeah, I tend to leave them bleeding out. I don't really check if they're dead or not.
God, you're a heartless son of a bitch.
Sometimes you have to be when you're trying to crawl yourself from the ground up. But that's neither here or there. Point is that I've done some things that I probably should not be proud of, and I'm not. It's just the way it is. But whether or not I check if they're died or not, it doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, a hunt's a hunt. And sometimes when you're hunting, it's not just the animals that you have to look out for. And so, it's either fight or die.
Damn, I'm going to start calling you Dick Cheney. Holy shit.
Thank you. I tried. Just be careful not to be around me when we're duck hunting. I might confuse you with a duck.
Oh, God.
How about you, Laz? Have you killed somebody?
Not you yourself. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I know what Isaac's done. Isaac knows what I've done, so we're good with that. If it came down to it, Laz, would you be able to kill somebody?
Just be honest.
And Laz says, I guess the wolf did, but not I as myself.
But just for all of you, I'll make sure to check next time to make sure they're dead and not bleeding out.
Well, don't worry, next time we'll know.
It's usually best that way. You leave something bleeding out, could heal and come after you. Been there.
I'd say I've been there too, except my dad didn't live, so...
And Laz says, I think so. Especially if it's some ne'er-do-well.
Good to know. I'm glad you'll shoot back if they're shooting at you. We're halfway there. Um,
It's also a few days away from here, isn't it?
okay. Depends on how we're gonna do it. I don't know if you've noticed, but the way I'm dressed, I'm wearing a cavalry Stetson, I'm wearing cavalry boots, I'm wearing cavalry spurs, and I'm wearing a military jacket. I went to West Point. I can speak to the officers because I was going to be one. That's not so hard to get in. If we want to sneak in, it's really easy then, because the fort doesn't exist in the Umbra. We just step sideways right into the middle of the fort and we start shooting. They won't know what the fuck hit them. Just remember, if we shift, everyone has to die.
Sounds about right. All right. Well,
As
we'll
a just a a game master
That's what
note,
we.
I just realized it's actually Fort Wallace, but let's just switch the names around for now.
That's what we've been saying the whole time. Fort Wallace.
yeah. Yeah. Um, Isaac, I do have one question before we move.
Hmm.
So, how long do we have until we have to go back? First of all, do you guys know?
At the end of the month, we should probably make that moot. But if we miss it because we're still on our mission, then we miss it. But we're probably going to want to be at that moot because by then I'm pretty sure that White Eagle will have sent the spirits, and our elders will probably want to ask us how the fuck we did what we did.
So, how many days does it leave us then?
Only, sorry, storyteller, it's only been like 2 days, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only been like 2 days.
3 days? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days. If I remember right, you guys started on, I think, yeah, we're doing this in like, we started like October 25th as far as dates go. So it's like the 28th. But
So it would be the end of November that the end of November is when the moot was,
I
or is it
was
the end of
uh,
October?
I was gonna have it be the end of October.
Okay.
Oh, so
Samhain
we
and
have
all
three
that.
days.
We can go back now, do the
No.
moot,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back out. Tell them we're not done, but this is what we're following. We just wanted to check in. Be here for your moot, because I mean, they said kill the poachers, stop the poachers. Okay, the poachers are dead, but now we're gonna go kill the extra people on top of that. That just also makes us look a little bit better, even though we didn't actually kill the poachers, but we found our new friends, the Uktena. That's gonna shine pretty big. So we can go back, load up again, get some extra ammo, get some extra stuff if we need to. We can stay at my house a couple days, eat a couple hot meals, and then we're just right back out. We can do it either way.
I think it's best if we continue on our way and finish this. Because, as you said, this is not going to end, even if our new friends here basically did the job for us. It's still going to continue. And I would rather put this thing done and over so we can focus on the next objective and really get through the rite of passage. At least that's how I want to see it.
Yep, it does.
And plus, I want to see after everything's done and over, if even if we don't get, even if we don't get the Fort Wallace trademark, I want to see what can I do to help in terms of medicine for the Uktena.
Well, I'm personally all for stealing what they have and giving it to them, but if you guys are willing to buy the medicine, then we can buy the medicine. I just think a lesson has to be learned or a point made not to do this anymore.
And we will.
I agree. I agree completely. But if they don't have the medicine there, if they sent the medicine somewhere else, I'm not going to go down to Timbuktu looking for the medication. If we can bring them medication in 2 or 3 days to help them get over, then we're going to go teach these people a lesson. Hopefully, some of the medication's left. We bring it back.
We'll still go and go to Fort Wallace trademark, and teach the general a lesson. That's not going to change, and I agree 100%. And a lesson needs to be taught. But I also agreed that if what Little Shadow says is true, I can't remember his first name. So I just gotta what he says is true. Then if both him and I can buy enough to tie them over and bring back the medicine that it's within Fort Wallace, then it'll be a pincer attack of sorts.
Oh, goal number 1 is to help our friends, the Uktena. Goal number 2 is to get all their shit back after we teach people why you shouldn't step on people that they view as lesser than them. So yeah, why don't we go back for the moot?
Okay.
I can't be sure that everybody will have earned their name yet, but we don't have to disband. We can still be a pack, which means if we seriously want to become a pack, then we'll have a few things we need to talk about, like what should we call ourselves, and eventually, what should the pack totem be?
Bitches and hoes? No.
Well, if you're into bitches and hoes, you can go get your bitches and hoes, but it won't be a pack affair.
A bag of bitches and hoes. In any case, there is one other question that I was to ask. Is there any way we can basically search past our boundaries? Because from what you said, and the children and the young are sent all over, all the way to Oklahoma. Do we not have a kinfolk who can traverse and investigate in the shadows for us? Given that they already sent a pack and they never came back and all.
I've got kinfolk in Massachusetts. I got Izzy back home, but she's not going to go out and do something like that. She's a school teacher. Well, I think that if it happens, it's probably going to have to be us.
Likely.
Yeah, we can go. It's not impossible. It just take a few weeks of writing, probably. Suddenly occurs to Adrian, and I have to ask now. I'm sorry, off subject. Les, Heath, are you guys familiar with the litany?
And he stays quiet but shakes his head.
Uh-oh.
Well, I think that is something we should probably go over tonight. Or
We're gonna
Right.
we're gonna stay with the Uktena one more time. We're gonna make ourselves a little fire to stay warm around, and Isaac and I are going to now speak to you guys about the litany before we go on, because this is important. This is very important. There are rules, there are laws in the Garou society, the nation, that if you break these laws, there is a 99% chance that you will be dead because of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good,
Good, Les.
Yeah, Laszlo says, "Oh, I think I may have heard of this before, but
But we'll go over it again just to be sure. So, they'll go ahead and make their private spot, still with them still out in the open, but they make a little fire to get warm so they can eat their dinner and whatnot. Adrian's going to make more tea, and he's going to start explaining the litany. Oh, boy. This is long.
And so, Adrian and Isaac spent the next 5 hours explaining the litany. The end.
which is, as a sidebar, when it comes to the litany, every tribe has her own version of it, in a way. I mean, it's all there's the same ones over and over, but for instance, something like with it tells you not to eat humans. I believe that's one of them. I can't remember. The Red Talon would not agree with that. They eat humans all the fucking time. They don't care.
They don't feel that they're actually related to humans,
Yeah.
and therefore eating humans is not bad because they're just. Anyways, to go over the litany, it won't take this long. It's only 12 laws. Okay? 12 laws. It's pretty simple to remember, most of them. The first one is a Garou shall not mate with another Garou. Don't do it. If she is a shifter, leave, go to a whorehouse, do what you gotta do. Do not mate with another Garou.
That's not going to be a problem for me, but go on.
And Laz says because that makes strange babies.
The baby that's born it'll be a Garou, and it will have flaws. It can't make any more. It's like a mule. They are sterile. Basically, as soon as we start screwing each other, that is the end of our species. There is no turning back from that. So just don't do it. And the next one is combat the worm where it dwells and whenever it breeds. So basically, whenever we know that the worm is out there, we know the worm is out there. Wherever it is, if we find it, we fight it. That doesn't mean just run in guns blazing with no plan. We can make a plan, but we can't just ignore it and say, we'll get to it later. It has to be taken care of as soon as we find it. As soon as we can, we take care of it. Sound fair? Good.
And then Laz says, sounds like the poacher thing might take priority then, potentially, if we know.
It's possible that the poachers could be of the worm, but it's also quite possible that they're just humans being assholes. Humans are sometimes assholes. It's just the way they are.
And Laz says, right, we don't know yet.
But we are going to find out. And it's good to think that way. All right, so the next rule. This is one you guys should be familiar with because it is respect the territory of another. You notice that as soon as we got to a point where we felt like we were in the Uktena territory and I said, stop, don't go any further, that's because we respected the territory of another. We announced ourselves before we came in and we were escorted in. That's the first step to make us have our new friends here so that, we've got to remember that one and don't just wander around willy-nilly. Pay attention to where you're at. Make sure you're not in somebody else's territory. The next rule is accept an honorable surrender. So this is for rights and things like that. If the two of you have to get into a fight, say you and Laz and Heath are in a fight, and you decide to actually duke it out to figure out who's right and who's wrong, and Heath kicks the crap out of Laz, the moment that Laz surrenders, you have to accept it. You cannot kill him. If you do, you're probably going to die. You will be punished. A lot of people like to skip this one and say I was in the heat of the moment and I couldn't do it. Just don't let it get that far, please. There's not enough Garou as it is. On the other side note, if we come across black spiral dancers and they surrender to you, it is not an honorable surrender, and I want you to kill them anyway.
Done.
Good. Now, I know you guys might not like this next one very much, but it is also another important one. It is submission to those of higher station. Technically, Isaac and I are in a higher station than the two of you, so when we come up with our decisions, I'm not going to say it would be against it to argue with us, to say you have a difference of opinion. I don't mind if you tell me your difference of opinion because it might show me a side that I'm not looking at. But in the end, when I make my decision, it gets followed. And if that really bothers you, I'll get to another law in the litany real soon, and we'll be able to take care of that too. Okay. Other than that, this is one of the reasons why I told you to take the deer that you guys caught to the elder of the Sept. It's submission to a higher station, and it's also another rule, which I'm going to jump forward a little bit just to let you guys know. It's the first of the kill for the greatest in station. So basically, if you go out hunting and then come back with food, the food would normally be offered to an elder or your pack leader first. I don't care about these rules. If you don't want to share your hunts with me, then don't share your hunts with me. That's fine. But when we're in a Sept setting and there's elders about, always offer you the first of your hunt to whoever the elder is. They might get offended if you don't. Any questions so far?
Not yet.
And Laz says, sounds right so far, boss.
Great. The next one is, ye shall not eat the flesh of humans. Just don't eat people. You're related to people, so that's kind of gross. Makes you a cannibal. That's also kind of gross. And I'm also of the belief that it kind of gives worm taint, which is usually true. You will become tainted by the worm if you eat the flesh of humans. Don't do it. And another important one coming up here is respect those beneath you. All are of Gaia. This is why I respect you guys, because it's the law. Not just because I'm your pack leader and I think you guys are awesome, but humans are not cattle. I guess cattle shouldn't really be treated like cattle. Just respect everything and you'll be good. Respect your enemies as you kill them. Respect your elders, respect the humans, respect everything, and you won't have any problems. The next one is the veil shall not be lifted, which is we don't talk about what we are, and we definitely don't show what we are in front of humans. Laz, were you trying to say something? I saw a look in your eye.
Laz says, was just gonna parrot, respect is everything.
Respect is everything. I respect you for that. But yes, the veil shall not be lifted. Basically, we hide from the humans. And I know what you guys are thinking. We're big, we're strong, we're powerful. But I'll explain it like this. Several of us, several of our people were killed by the church, which was all basically just the human beings being freaked out because they thought that we were witches and dealing with demons. I don't care how big and bad of a Garou you are, an angry mob will fuck you up. You cannot kill more than 50 humans that are all coming at you at the same time. So,
I just think we're just a pain in the ass more than. I just think I'm a pain in the ass more than being strong and powerful. To be honest.
it's okay. Just stay hidden. We'll be fine. There's only one rule left. No, there's several rules left, excuse me. The next one is do not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness. This is why I do not complain or ask for help when I'm having trouble breathing or I can't move well. I understand that I'm weak. I understand that my lungs are fucked up. This is my problem to deal with, nobody else's. If you want to die of old age, you are more than welcome to. They used to be that all of us Garou, when as soon as our fellow Garou got too old or too sick or too injured to do something, we'd just kill him and walk off. But we don't do that much anymore. The next law is the leader may be challenged at any time during peace. There's a lot of guys out there, and women, Garou, that will sit there and say we're always at war with the worms, so you cannot challenge me. I think that's bullshit. The way I put it is don't challenge what I have to say while we are under attack. You can't do it. It doesn't matter. Just do what I tell you to do. Unless it's something that's going to get us all killed because I don't know something. Change a plan if you have to, but don't challenge me. At any time during downtime, usually at the Sept, or even a night like this where we're all just relaxing and everything like that, if you want to challenge me for leadership of the pack, you can go right ahead. That's your right. If you think I'm not doing a good enough job, challenge me. It's a good way to keep us all honest and even. Now, the last and most important law of the litany is you shall take no action that causes a cairn to be violated. I'm going to explain this as succinctly and as simply as possible. If I found out that one of you, any of you, did anything to purposely cause a cairn to be violated or lost to the worm, I will make sure that you wish I had killed you. Because I will find a way to take you and dump you into the middle of Erebus and leave you there, forgotten to all time. I can't even begin to tell you how serious I am about that.
And Laz says, and a cairn is a place or item?
The cave that we slept in last night, where the Uktena meet, as well as the cairn of the Emerald Marsh over there near Saint Denis. These places of land, they are holy places. You can feel the gnosis inside your body, the pure warm power of creation. It's a lot different than the rage that we feel when we look at the moon. You're aware of the gnosis, right?
And
The
Laz says,
gnosis,
yes.
yes. Gnosis is that magical energy. A cairn is where it's collected. The nice, clean, pristine land where we can go and meditate and gain back our energies. There's a reason why we all stick to those, and we're talking about opening moon bridges to help each other out, is so we can keep these. If that land falls, I promise you, I will send you to Erebus. I don't know how to do it yet, but if I have to, I'll figure it out.
And Les says that shouldn't be a problem then.
Good. I'm also going to take it that you guys don't even know what Erebus is. Well, not all of you. I'm pretty sure Isaac knows.
And Les says, yeah, it's heck.
Heck, I'm going to assume you mean hell. And no, Malphite is hell. Erebus is so much worse. Erebus is this plane of existence in the deep umbra. It's an area where you can get sent, but you will not die when you get sent there. And trust me, when you're sent there, you fall through the sky and then land in an ocean of molten silver. And if you can actually swim through it, you can find land there. It's there every now and again. They're like icebergs of jagged cutting silver floating in the lake of molten silver. And you can't die there. You're just constantly, constantly being burnt up in a lake of molten silver as the silver purifies your spirit until Gaia decides that you have been redeemed enough to go back to your life. Could be 1,000 years, could be 1,000,000 years, could be 5 years, but it's probably the worst pain imaginable. I believe you're thinking of Cerberus, which is the three-headed dog that guards the river Styx.
No, actually,
Or do they
Erebus
have
is
an
the
Erebus?
river. Yeah, Erebus is the river that leads to Hades.
No, that would be the river Styx.
No, no, no. It's a place of darkness that the river Styx is in.
Oh, okay.
That's Erebus.
Yeah, it's like the place on the way to
Yeah.
Hades. in
Oh,
Greek
the
mythology.
tunnel entrance? I didn't know
Mhm.
it had a name. Right on.
Yeah.
I learned something new. Yeah, it's way different than what the Greeks ever thought. That was basically all the litany there, and they can just talk at night. You know, if you want to fast forward again or whatever, they're just bullshitting, talking, getting to know each other, and then the next day they probably leave. You know, say goodbye to their new friends, and everything. I'm thinking head back to the Sept so they can go to the moot. I'm sure Isaac would have told Adrian by now. Let's be at home, or let's be in Saint Denis coming up here, so we don't have anything major going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they talk that night. Isaac's going to continue to prepare himself mentally and physically for what's about to happen, and the next day they'll pack up, say goodbye to their friends, and tell them that they'll be back, and to make sure and send those spirits to the Sept of the Emerald Marsh, and you know that there are good people, good Garou there that are willing to help them out.
Okay.
You know, that kind of shit.
All right. So yeah, as you guys get prepared, the Garou that you've met so far, they send you off on your way. Krell even kind of escorts you guys to the edge of the territory. You know, make sure you don't get jumped by anything or anyone on your way out.
An army of turkeys.
Turkeys.
And I'd say he even goes like outside of the territory of the Sept just to make sure you guys don't run into any trouble with the army or Fort Wallace that's like right across the ravine. The fort is literally like a skip, jump, and a hop away from the reservation.
Okay.
And you even pass by it as on your way over to Valentine to catch the train if you guys decide to do that.
Well, before they go, actually, yeah, he said, of course they say their goodbyes to White Eagle, but if she's around, he's gonna find melting snow, and wish her luck and that kind of stuff, and tell her that they'll probably be back, to visit and whatnot. But if she ever needs help, he kind of explains in a way that a wolf would understand which direction to go to find the city where he would be at. And he tells her to to look for the white man dwelling that has all the crows.
And yeah, melting snow takes a moment to think, to commit that to memory, and then she nods and says, "I'll remember. I remember
Okay,
everything."
good. And they go off and start writing out. Once they get past the land, he looks to the other three and says, "So, how do we want to do this? Do we want to just ride all the way back, or would you guys like to take the train? It's a little bit more expensive getting the horses on the train, but between me and Heath, I think we can wing it."
Yeah. Well, if we had to get there as fast as possible, it might be best if we get to the train.
As much as I hate trains, it's a sound idea.
Good way to avoid a fight if we're trying to get there on time. What do you think, Laz? Laz says a train should be good. All right. So they're gonna check out the fort. They're not gonna go inside, but they're gonna look at it, see what kind of guards they have on the walls, see if they have any like Gatling guns or anything like that. Just kind of check it out as they go, and then they're gonna go to Valentine to hitch a train to Saint Denis.
Okay. And as you pass by Fort Wallace, you see it's basically it's a all wooden structure. It has three towers. One tower is taller than the other two, and you can't really see inside of the fort. I'd say you do see at least maybe like one or two Gatling guns on the walls, but it doesn't, from afar, it doesn't look like they're loaded up with ammunition or anything. But you do see, like, I'd say a normal number of guards patrolling the walls. In the window of one of the towers, you can see one of the officers just surveying the land through binoculars. Doesn't really seem like anything out of the ordinary.
About normal. All right. Adrian essentially memorizes everything he can as they ride by. Yeah, he basically memorizes as much as he can. He's got an eidetic memory, so yeah. And then they hop a train.
Choo
Awesome.
choo.
All right.
Choo.
Yeah, before you hop on that train, so you come into Valentine and it's got its muddy road and everything. And as you guys are heading over to the train, um, you see a man dressed in a Union uniform. He's missing his arm, and the sleeve is like kind of pinned up. The sleeve of his missing arm is pinned up to his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of sitting by the by the ramp that leads up to the train station, and he's basically sitting there and begging for money essentially. And he's saying like, "Can anybody spare 10 cents, 5 cents?" And he has his soldier's cap out, kind of waiting for people to drop change in. But he's there as you arrive to the train station and get the horses ready and buy tickets for the train. And if you guys stop a moment to watch, you can see that most basically everybody that's walking by just pays him no attention at all.
After the ticket is bought and everything's there, I'm sure they're gonna have to wait a little while anyway. He's watching this guy and watching people ignore him. Let me read my character sheet real quick here. Yeah, he walks over and gives him a quarter. Just drops a quarter in his hat and keeps on walking, kind of thing. How long till the train gets there, would you say?
Uh, Not too long. I'd say like less than an hour, maybe half an hour. Yeah, Valentine's not too far away from the reservation, so I'd say you arrive shortly before like the before the midday train arrives. Yeah,
Eh,
as you drop the quarter in the hat, you hear him say, "Oh, thank you, Mister. Thank you so much."
You're welcome, Sergeant. He tells the other guys, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab a beer. Fuck it, we got 30 minutes anyway." And he starts. After he said that to the soldier, he just walks on over to the bar to grab a beer.
Heath watches the interaction and then looks at Laszlo and he asks, "Can you do me a favor, Laszlo?
And Laszlo says, "Hmm."
Can you give him this to the guy on the ground that Adrian just talked to? I would do it myself, but I think, knowing my predicament, it's not might be the best thing." And he hands him like the same thing, a quarter, something that I had to get used to. And he's just gonna walk further away from people and be mostly by a tree.
Okay. And Laz says, "Sure, of course." And Laz, as you go over to also drop a quarter in the man's hat, the the veteran says, "Oh, thank you, mister." And as you start to walk away, he says, "Hold on just a moment, mister." And he gets up on his cane and leans on it, and he kind of gives you a look over, and he says, um, "Sorry to bother you, mister, but my name's Mickey. You remind me of someone I used to know." Now he like, if it's not too much for me to say, mister, it's you have the same kind of eyes that he had.
No, you liar!
He was oh yes, the same eyes, mister. Like I don't really know how to say it, but I guess he had the same fire in his eyes as you do. You look like you've seen a lot, and you know, men like him, people like him, I guess you could say they're kind of like family, you know? And Mickey, the veteran, pauses for a moment and he says, I'm sure you've got family. Do you have family, mister?" And Laz, you say, yeah, I got a bit of an adopted family now." Mickey gives a few nods, and with his good arm, he kind of reaches over and pats you on the shoulder, and he says, "Oh, well, mister, hold on to whatever family you've got. I don't really have much of a family anymore. Most folk around here think I'm a little funny in the head from time to time. I haven't had an easy life, mister, but people like the man I used to know, I mentioned you and him had the same eyes. People like you and him, you're family to me, mister. So if you ever need anything, I'll try to help in however way I can. Lots of folk come through here, and well, most really pay me no mind."
Guy admitting to be a kinfolk?
Well, the way I kind of understood it is kinfolk can kind of, I guess, tell when they're around Garou, unless I'm
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm just trying to be subtle about it.
Oh, I got it. It's just that I'm not close by.
I was just wondering. I mean, yeah.
And Isaac is just standing by, kind of just listening to this whole conversation, glancing over at Heath every now and again.
I guess about 10 minutes later, Adrian comes back with a beer for everybody.
And Lat says, "All right, I appreciate the offer. I'll keep that in mind." Mickey of Valentine, huh? And he just says, "Oh, no, just Mickey, mister." And he's gonna sit back down and say, "God bless you, sir." And he's gonna let you go on your way. But yeah, if I remember right, Laz has quite a few points in the kinfolk background, so
Oh God, throw a rock in the city and you hit one.
so it was just something I had a little kind of scene I had in the back of my mind for a while.
It's cool.
That is pretty cool. I
Yeah.
like it. So
Mm.
Adrian comes back, holds out a bottle of beer to Isaac.
He takes it and lifts it up a little bit. Doesn't drink just yet. He's still kind of studying the vagrant.
Offers the bottle of beer to Laz. Of course, man. We're family, kind of. Goes and gives one to Heath.
He takes it and glances at you for a moment before gulping it down in one swing. Thanks.
Yeah. You don't always have to be separate from us, you know. We can watch out for you too.
It's not for you guys that I'm being separate.
I know, but it's okay. You'll get used to it, man. Trust me. Trust me. You'll get used to it. Then he walks over to the vagrant, pops a bottle of beer in his lap, and then goes off and sits down on a bench and just drinks his own beer, looking out. People watching again.
Okay, and after that, not really too much happens. You see people come and go. There's a few ranchers that bring in some cattle and sheep to sell at auction. It looks like there's some small preparations being made for Halloween and the harvest and everything. But other than that, it's a normal busy day in Valentine, and it's not long, probably another 15 minutes or so before you hear the distant whistle of the train as it starts to approach the station. And then the horses are all loaded up. You hand your tickets over to the ticket counter person. I can't remember the name.
The conductor?
The conductor, yeah. You hand your tickets over to the conductor. You guys are on the train.